Welcome to Warzone, where the captivating stories of past wars come alive. Today we are delving into the Russo-Japanese War and particularly the Battle of Tsushima. This conflict, spanning from 1904 to 1905, pitted the Russian Empire against the Empire of Japan. The control of Korea and Manchuria was the crux of the contention between these two mighty empires. The Russo-Japanese War holds a significant place in world history, marking the first time an Asian power triumphed over a European one in a modern war. This victory had far-reaching consequences, altering the world politics and balance of power. The war was not just fought on land, but also on the high seas, where the naval prowess of both nations was truly put to the test. This war was a major turning point, marking the first major military victory of an Asian power over a European one in modern times. At the heart of the Russo-Japanese War was a fierce naval battle between the Russian and Japanese fleets. The Russian Navy, split between the Pacific Squadron in China and the Baltic Fleet in Europe, found itself at a disadvantage. Its ships were older, slower, and far from the theater of war, while communication was a challenge, relying on outdated flag signals and couriers. On the other hand, the Japanese combined fleet was a force to be reckoned with. Based in Sasebo, Japan, they had the home field advantage and boasted faster modern ships. Their communication was also superior, using wireless telegraphy or radio to transmit orders and information. This difference in technology and location put the Japanese Navy in a powerful position. They quickly gained the upper hand in the naval war, decimating the Russian Pacific Squadron in the Battle of Port Arthur, and blockading the port until its surrender. The stage was set for a naval confrontation that would change the course of the war. The Russian Baltic Fleet embarked on a perilous journey of over 18,000 nautical miles to join the Pacific Squadron. Commanded by Admiral Zinovy Rozhestvensky, the fleet faced a voyage fraught with immense challenges. Imagine traversing hostile waters, navigating the political complexities of foreign coaling stations, and constantly being on guard due to false reports of enemy ships. With each passing day, the fleet's distance from home only increased, while the specter of the formidable Japanese Navy loomed ever closer. The Baltic Fleet was far from its base, operating in unfamiliar territory and hindered by slower, older ships. Yet, the Russian sailors were undeterred. Despite the odds, they pressed on, bound by duty and driven by the hope of reinforcing their beleaguered comrades in the Pacific Squadron. Despite the odds, the Russian Baltic Fleet pressed on, heading towards an inevitable clash with the Japanese Navy. On May 27, 1905, the two fleets finally met near the Tsushima Strait, marking the start of the Battle of Tsushima. As the day broke, the chill of the morning was cut with the tension of the imminent confrontation. The Russian fleet, led by Admiral Zinovy Rozhestvensky, met the Japanese fleet, commanded by Admiral Togo Heihachiro, on the vast expanse of the Sea of Japan. The Japanese fleet, superior in speed, maneuverability, and range of their artillery, had the upper hand. Their ships were agile, darting across the sea, while the Russian fleet lagged behind, their vessels slower and less nimble. The Japanese also held a significant advantage in communication, using wireless telegraphy to transmit orders and crucial information. The Russians, on the other hand, were forced to rely on traditional flag signals and couriers, a method that was far less efficient and reliable. The battle commenced in the afternoon. Rozhestvensky, leading his fleet with determination, found himself in the heart of the action. The skies were ablaze with the fire from the warships, the air filled with the deafening roar of cannons and the acrid smell of gunpowder. The Russian admiral was wounded and knocked unconscious in the initial exchange, leaving his fleet without its leader in the midst of the raging battle. By sunset, 4 of the Russian battleships had been sunk. The Japanese fleet, quick and relentless, had managed to infuse chaos and confusion into the Russian ranks. With their leader incapacitated and their ships sinking, the Russian morale was severely affected. The once formidable Russian fleet was now significantly weakened, their hopes of gaining an upper hand in the battle dwindling with the setting sun. As the sun set on the first day of the battle, the Russian fleet was already significantly weakened. The Battle of Tsushima was not just a confrontation between two naval powers, but a clash of strategies, technologies, and leadership. And as the first day ended, it was clear which side held the advantage. The Battle of Tsushima continued into the night, with the Japanese Navy launching devastating attacks on the Russian fleet. Under the cloak of darkness, Japanese destroyers and torpedo boats took advantage of their speed and maneuverability to launch blistering assaults. The Russian fleet, already hampered by the loss of Admiral Rozhestvensky to injury, was thrown into disarray. As the sun began to rise on the morning of May 28th, the Russian fleet was in a dire state. 7 of their battleships had been sunk, and the remainder were heavily damaged. Amidst the chaos and destruction, Admiral Nikolai Nebogatov, now in command, made the difficult decision to surrender to the Japanese Navy. The white flag was raised, signaling the end of the battle. The surrender of the Russian fleet was unprecedented. This marked the first time in modern naval history that an entire fleet had surrendered to the enemy. The once formidable Russian Baltic Fleet was reduced to a mere shadow of its former self. All 11 Russian battleships were lost, with 7 sunk and 4 captured. Among the survivors, only a handful of vessels managed to escape the carnage. A single cruiser and 2 destroyers limped their way to Vladivostok, while 2 auxiliary cruisers and a transport ship managed to escape back to Madagascar. 3 cruisers were interned at Manila by the United States, neutral in the conflict but observing international law. The Battle of Tsushima was a devastating blow to Russia, both militarily and psychologically. It effectively ended Russia's naval presence in the Pacific and sent shockwaves through the international community. The victory of an Asian power over a European one was a wake-up call to the established powers of the world. The Battle of Tsushima was a decisive victory for Japan, marking a significant turning point not only in the Russo-Japanese War, but also in world history. It signaled the emergence of Japan as a major world power, and marked the beginning of a shift in the global balance of power.